Led Zeppelin, with more than a hint of Rush. The positivity and optimism of youth, before life crushes your soul and the ravages of age begin to take hold. Sandals? Might I recommend some sturdy walking boots or perhaps some supportive Skechers? Rock and roll is no supporter of bad arch support. Take care of yourselves, guys. Greta Van Fleet are here with their long-awaited debut album, Anthem of the Peaceful Army. Oh. Before I get started, a quick shout out to my good friend Matthew Ward, who pointed this band out to me about a year ago. I mean, I'd have probably discovered him at some point on my own anyway. But well done, Matt. Well done. As always, if you like what you see and you want to support the channel, make sure that you drop a like on the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Why not? Might as well. Anthem of the Peaceful Army. This is the long-awaited debut of Greta Van Fleet, a band who have been getting a lot of buzz about them. A very young band. Led Zeppelin comparisons have been hurled at them, and it's difficult to escape that, to be fair. Personally speaking, I only see it as a good thing. You've got a bunch of young musicians who are bringing back to the fore decent playing, proper instruments, played well, and good song structures. There are three brothers in the band, the Kiska brothers. We have Josh on vocals, Jake on guitar, and Sam on bass, and they continue that tradition of siblings in bands like Van Halen, Pantera. I think this goes a long way to explaining exactly why this band sounds so tight. They sound absolutely fantastic, and I'm sure that the brothers being able to jam together anytime they want has a huge amount to do with that. And they are joined by one hell of a drummer, Danny Wagner, bloody hell, nearly fell over, who I'll say right now does a fantastic job behind the kit. There's a real 60s, 70s vibe to this album, not just the Led Zeppelin stuff, but just in terms of the instrumentation in general. The whole sound of it has a very authentic, organic, rustic feel. Rustic? What? It sounds good. Apparently the name of the band actually came about when they heard one of their relatives talking about somebody who lived in their town, Frankenmuth, Michigan. There was a lady named Greta Van Fleet, and they changed the name to Greta Van Fleet with her blessing, and there you go. I don't think there was much more into it than that. As I've already stated, comparisons to the Led Zeppelin are inescapable, but I'm not here to judge them on that. I'm going to judge them purely on the songs and how they make me feel, whether I enjoy them or not. So let's get started. First track is Age of Man. And I'll say right away, this was an incredible start to an album. I really enjoyed this song. I'd say this was far more in line with Rush than Led Zeppelin. Josh's vocal comes in such a high pitch. It's incredible. His voice is absolutely astonishing. And I've heard his speaking voice as well. He's got a regular speaking voice. You'd expect him to have quite a high pitch speaking voice, but he doesn't have a high pitch. Stop saying high pitch. His vocals far more in common with Geddy Lee than Robert Plant on this one, and there's a very progressive feel. And I also got a hint of Prophet Song by Queen. In an age of darkness light appears, and it wards away the ancient fears. March to the anthem of the heart, to a brand new day, a brand new start. Kind of morphs into a bit of a heavier version of itself, and it really highlights what is so great about this band. You get these really old school bass and guitar tones, as well as bass and guitar lines, fat sounding drums and incredible vocals. I think the Rush song that it reminded me most of actually was Witching Hour. Was it Witching Hour? I think it's the use of the atmospheric keyboards in the background, a very sinister side, very sinister kind of sound to it. If this sort of proggier direction is where the band is going to go, I'm very intrigued to where they go next. This song really builds as well. I think it's like a 6.5 minute song, and Josh's vocals towards the end of the song are just phenomenal. As we came into the clear to find ourselves where we are here, who is the wiser to help us steer? And we will know when the end is near. Caught me enjoying some rather delicious coconut water. Stay hydrated, guys. Next up we have The Cold Wind, and this one starts out with a riff that immediately makes you think of Zeppelin. However, on closer inspection I actually found this had a lot more in common with The Who. Who I know are a huge influence on the band, and more specifically the Seeker. Some great riffs on this one, and yet again Danny Wagner hammering down behind the kit. Some great drum fills, and it has one of those bass lines that kind of makes you want to, you know, oh sweet mama, lay me down in my grave. Leave me baby, I'm too far gone to save. The snow is coming, all the village folk know. This wicked shiver chills me down to my bone. A great solo seals the deal on this one. Next up we have When the Curtain Falls. And this is a great track. Total Zeppelin riff. No doubt about it, but a damn good one. I absolutely love the guitar tone that Jake gets as well. It just sounds fantastic. This song to me, I think is about a woman in Hollywood who's maybe past her prime. When the curtain falls, walk the hollow halls, babe. Once a valley doll, now you're not one at all, no. And there was another line in it as well, Obertol and cocktails. Apparently Obertol was a very popular amphetamine-based dieting pill that was used a lot in the 50s and the 60s amongst the Hollywood bourgeois. Is that a word? Another great solo on this, and the drums and the bass sound fantastic. I just love the tones they get out of them, so it sounds awesome. Great chorus, really catchy, absolutely love this one. Next up we have Watching Over. This one starts out more as a melancholic ballad, and it seems to be addressing the pollution that mankind has caused to the planet. We've got a lot to answer for. Chorus got a little heavier, and this actually did kind of remind me a bit of Zeppelin's No Quarter. Just had that kind of similar, like the transitions to it. There was just something about it that reminded me of that song. You don't have to justify yourself, Ben, you didn't write it. I wonder when we'll realise this is what we got left. And it's our demise. With the water rising and the air so thin, still the children smiling. Can we see no sin? Josh's vocals are sensational on this track. I really love this one. There's also a lot of droning notes on the instrumentation as well, that kind of Indian sounding feel, sort of open tunings. One thing I kind of noticed on this as well, the final chords of the album, or the final chord of the album, the way it just kind of stops. It did have that very kind of analog feel to it. I didn't actually see whether this was done digitally or analog, actually. I should have checked that, but it definitely has an analog warmth to it. I hear people having fun. Guess I'll have to negotiate this shit show. Next up we have Lover Lever, Take a Believer. There was a touch of Whole Lot of Love to the riff in this one, but the solo in this one I particularly thought had a very Tony Iommi, a very Sabbath, or well, more specifically Tony Iommi vibe, hence why I said it in the fucking first place. There was also a nice use of keyboard on the bridge section. Now this song was released earlier as a single, but it was a shorter version. I think this is maybe another 6.5 minute one, so this is an extended version of the one some of you may have heard. Once again, I really loved some of the drum fills that Danny Wagner was putting into this track, and this one covers love and Satan and all sorts of Hebrew Bible stuff. Metal as fudge. The terrible wail I just heard was Children Playing Croquet, which is about as Englandhamshire-ish as you can get. None more Englandhamshire. Oh God, hellfire, witch of Endor raised. Saul would fall to his knees. Watch the fire blaze. Satan plays his flute for him. The sound, it burns his ears. Watches as the peace of man slips and disappears. Another great track. There really has been a disappointing amount of people around today. It does make doing these things very difficult. You can do the sort of thing in a city and nobody really notices, but when you're a single person out in the country, you do tend to stand out a touch more. Next up we have You're the One, and this is a straight up acoustic country style ballad. Josh continues to display his impressive vocals with a lower register than we've heard before. I found there was a hint of Lucky Man by The Verve on this one. Not much more to say about this one. Decent enough song with some standard sort of lyrics for this type of thing. You're the one I want. You're the one I need. You're the one I had. So come on back to me. Nothing groundbreaking on this song or particularly unique, but I did enjoy it. Next up we have The New Day. This one has a touch of the Rambling Ons. What, my channel? No, the Zeppelin song. Love isn't greed, it's a need that goes unspoken. Love doesn't leave when you fade away. Pain isn't vain if it means your heart's been broken. Pain is the same as a means needs to heal. What? Pain is the same as a means to heal. Again, nothing particularly outstanding about this one, but a decent enough song, though I did enjoy the bass line on this one a lot. Next up we have Mountain of the Sun. Some real nice riffs on this one with a great use of slide, and had hints of the Choir Boys I found in it. I just broke a twig. And despite its saccharine sentiment, I'll make you mine. You're my sunshine. This one was actually a good little rocker of a tune. Good little rocker of a tune. Penultimate song is a song called Brave New World, and I loved this one a lot. This is another one that has a more of a Rush vibe to it, more of a progressive feel to it, and if this is the direction that the band are going to go into, I'm all for it. I'm 100% supporting this band. This is by far the darkest sounding song on the album. Real atmospheric darkness. Once again, Josh sounds far more Geddy Lee, and he paints a dark picture. As to the drifters of the high drift plains, they can see the ashes and the acid rain. It turns to dust before my very eyes, and it chokes to death within the smog lies. But we are not without hope. Take one look at your skies, and in the darkness realise. Kill fear, the power of lies, for we will not be hypnotised. We get some great bass lines, amazing drum fills, great riffs and lead playing. Josh sounds absolutely fantastic on this song. Absolutely phenomenal track. If there's any two tracks you want to check out, the opening track and this one. So that brings us to the final track on the album, Anthem. And I really enjoyed this track. It's an acoustic song, yet again. There's a real nice sentiment on it that I particularly enjoyed. That real, I guess that youthful hope and optimism that is so easy to lose. But we don't have to, guys. With the news, there's something every day. So many people thinking different ways, you say. Where is the music? A tune to free the soul. A simple lyric to unite us all. You know. And then later we get, and every glow in the twilight knows that the world is only what the world is made of. Just you and me can agree to disagree. That the world is only what the world is made of. In terms of a score, I'd give this an 8 out of 10. Some room for improvement, but I think this is a band that are definitely going places and they've got a lot to offer. If they're going to go down the prog route, I'm very interested to see what they do. You're obviously going to have naysayers who put them down because of the Zeppelin comparisons and all the rest of it, but all I know is I enjoyed listening to the album. That's all there is to it in my eyes. Great album, great band, really interested to see where they go in the future. 8 out of 10, check this one out. So, what have we got coming up next? Well, the next review I'll be doing will be Soulfly with Ritual. I'll also be doing a special announcement on Wednesday of this week. Bit more of a channel update, let you guys know of some of this happening on the channel, hence the channel update, you fucking idiot. I'll see you then.